Hey there, welcome to Worth It Wednesday. Every Wednesday we send a principle worth learning, a question worth answering, and a recommendation worth taking. Today's principle is that unity is not created by the absence of conflict, but rather by the presence of healthy conflict. I think sometimes it can be so easy to fall for the deception that we are healthy and we are strong and we are unified when everyone is agreeing on everything all the time. And I just want to remind you that that's not true. Truly, the best teams, organizations, and businesses that I work with all have one thing in common. The people within the team disagree a lot, right? But here's the difference maker though. They disagree in a healthy way. Because if you're not disagreeing in a healthy way, then that's just as toxic as not disagreeing, right? And so how do you disagree in a healthy way? Well, you got to stay within the boundaries. And that means, what are the boundaries? Well, I always think about a hockey match, right? If you think about hockey, there's a 1-inch thing of plexiglass that goes around the ice, right? And if you're on the ice, on that side of the plexiglass, you can hit people, you can throw punches, you can do some pretty crazy stuff, and it's called the game, right? The minute you get on the other side of the plexiglass, it's called illegal, right? And it's because as long as you're doing it within the boundaries of the game, well, you're good, and that's called the conflict that's part of playing ice hockey, right? So how does that apply to business? Well, you've got to have conflict within boundaries. Am I saying anyone should be throwing punches? No, I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is that you've got some boundaries for your business. It's called your mission and your core values. The members of our team, there's 8 of us now, know that our mission is that we exist to help impact-driven leaders step into who they were created to be so that others benefit and God is glorified. And we have 5 core values: point to Jesus, alignment, freedom and responsibility, treat people like friends, and strength is for service. And we really aren't going to disagree about the value and virtue of those values in that mission, right? If you have disagreement or conflict about those things, it's just probably a great sign that you're not a good culture fit and you're never going to enjoy our team. However, within the confines of that mission, those core values, baby, let's disagree. Let's fight it out. If we're talking about strategy, if we're talking about team culture, if we're talking about how things are being operated and how things are being messaged, if we're talking about structural things, if we're talking about benefits, if we're talking about sales tactics, come on, let's talk about it, because there's so much value in putting all of our ideas on the table and then kind of letting it be this idea cage match and saying, we're going to let the best idea win. Because think about what that represents. That represents me putting down my ego for the sake of the mission. To say, I'm going to put my ego on the line and recognize that I think I'm right, I could be wrong, but I'm going to fight it out and get to the bottom of it. I'll tell you, our COO, Zach, and I, we disagree on so much stuff, and it's one of my favorite things, and I think he would say this too, it's one of his favorite things we do, because we get into the kind of this verbal jousting, and we all both try to make our case, and I'll tell you, sometimes he wins out, sometimes I win out, but what's so cool is that it's really not about me or him, it's about the best idea winning out. And so the thing that I really want to make sure you and your team members hear, and this is what's part of the podcast episode that's the recommendation for this Worth It Wednesday, is that if no one's disagreeing on your team, it's not evidence that no one disagrees. It's just evidence that no one is voicing their disagreement. And there's a variety of reasons why people could be doing that. It could be that they value their stability more than they value progress. It could be that they don't feel safe to be able to do that. It could be that they're intimidated by you being the leader. It could be that they maybe have been scarred by previous work experiences elsewhere where that wasn't okay, because there's a lot of places where that is not normal, and you know this. But it's your responsibility as a leader to normalize healthy conflict within your business. So remember, unity is not created by the absence of conflict, but rather by the presence of healthy conflict and healthy disagreement. I hope this is helpful. I hope that you have a killer Wednesday. If you want to share this email with people, they can sign up at pathforgrowth.com. Man, this list is growing, and it's just bonkers to see how people are applying these concepts and principles. Y'all, we're rooting for you. We want to see you win. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.